Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar, Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ahad. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allahu Akbar. Ahad. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allahu Akbar. Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah. Allahu Akbar. Yes, my mothers of the human race, the humankind, the human beings, have come again to continue while we are looking at your greater honor, holy divine honor, in which we saw that Allah honored all female creations in the structure and the beauty of human beings. I say to you, my mothers, that is very true. You were honored by Allah with the holy divine honor as well as the holy divine task to look after what is what is the best beautiful interpretation of what we are, which human beings are considered to be what they are as human beings. In that statement, I put it that human beings are born of a woman, a female creation. A woman becomes of an age when she's in her 20s. When a mother, or what we call a mothers, when a mother when she's 20 years old, she's able to make a very, very well-informed and comfortable consenting decisions, as well as to articulation, to security, to all that is to come in terms of her offsprings. However, any little girl, any girl, because in a female creation we have what we call girls. A girl or a woman, a girl remains a girl until she's 19 years or 18 years. Let's say the 18 years is the cutting age. After 18, that a girl has been a girl, or in the year which it is 19 to 20, that when she looks back at what has been in all those years while she's being cared for by her mother. The mother who produced her looked after her from the very first day she came out of her mother's womb. The mother was there to guide, and that guidance is what I'm trying to show you, my mothers, that you've got to any hands and put it at a very, very high kind of degree in terms of if it was a 360, a 380 degree, you've got to add it to 3,000 or 40,000, I mean 300 whatever degrees, so that your children understand how beautiful this very beautiful holy religion, Islam, how it is to them as well as to you, mothers, so that your children do not become what we call a menace or gangs of criminals in future generations in terms of what we have when we looked at the 11th centuries. When we looked at the 11th century, many of you mothers who have children, if your children were sitting around with your grandchildren, some of them, they make you kind of shed a tear, which is not necessary because you are not responsible in most cases for what had happened, because men who had kind of built whatever which had no foundation whatsoever, they were assuming that yes, we're going to take it, carry it like this until that's why they manufacture those weapons. But Allah is most gracious and most merciful, that whatever man conjectured did not have any ground, because women, mothers know each and every of the gang of pimps and gangs of criminals who have been kind of trying to destroy the beauty of what we call life. Life is a religion. My mothers, I would remind you that very much, and you should know, you have it in your heart, because you are the only creations who can understand what life is. If a child was crying whom you had 3 days ago, 4 days ago, you'd rush where she is in her cot. You know, when the children are about to put in a cot, there's a small thing that they put in. Once she cries, you rush to go and check what is happening. That means the echo of life, the beauty of life is inside you. You know, the sonic, whatever of the baby's voice when she cried, Allah, 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 as reminded that Allah created her. And when a child cries, by the way, when a child makes that azan at takbir on the first, when she comes out of your womb, the main celestial obligation is to remind you that whenever the name Allah is mentioned, it should be awarded the greatest and beauty of security to those little babies that have been in your wombs for 9 months. Whenever a child comes out of as soon as they come out of their mother's womb, and they say, Allah, 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 in which you men and women say the child is crying. No, the child says Allah, 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 because she has never used her tongue to speak any word, and she does not use her tongue at that very juncture. She uses a signature, a very, very holy signature of Allah. It's a holy signature of Allah alone. Even when you get in your 80s, 90s, whatever age you are, that signature, if you insult any of your integrity or your integrity and dignity, that signature will remind you that if you go out of your whatever, you won't be able to swallow the food that has been going through your throat properly. That signature belongs to Allah. So that way, I just want to show you that, my mothers, these men who had conjectured things that made this life sometimes you would say life had become something that is unattractive to some people. Some people, they spend most of their whatever either in hospitals and what have you. And as I remind you that your responsibilities as mothers, is to look at what does life means to you as a mother and your children. Do you want to kind of continue on the old, they call the old guard, the old guard gang pimper, gangster lifestyle, or you want to keep a new page whereby your children are kind of covered in the beauty of the most holy, beautiful religion interpretation of what life is. Life is a religion. Life is a religion, and a very, very, very holy, beautiful religion. And that most holy, holy, beautiful religion is Islam. My mothers. That is the way that angels explain the things to you. If you want to find how beautiful life, you can get a cup of pots and you put flowers them. You can even plant your own flowers in your own on your own veld. In those polythene bags are littered here and there. And every day when you wake up, you go and say, yes, you learn how to look at life in a very different view of how beautiful life is. Then teach your children that indeed we are not created to shed blood. We were not created for war. We were created to celebrate the beauty of life. Life is a religion, and that most holy, beautiful religion is Islam. In that, we are not, as I said, you are created to celebrate, to celebrate that very, very most holy, beautiful religion, and not to engage in human trafficking, because human trafficking involves the mutilation and the psychological mutilation, physical mutilation of others. And it involves a lot of pain and whatever in those who are involved. We were not created to peddle or sell drugs. Yes, drugs are very deadly to any one of you. If any of your children kind of lost the way and they ended up in the gangs of drugs, well, I mean, when they become pimps and they sell drugs and what have you, that world is very deadly, because anyone who involves in drugs, they usually die young. They usually die very young. Why? Because Allah doesn't allow criminals to kind of spread their criminality to one or whatever to the other. In one or the other, he puts whatever and say, you stop or I'll take you down. As simple as that. Yes, my mothers. Look to life and teach your children not to spend or not to insult or not to abuse any of your dignities as mothers, any of your beauties and integrities to life. You are the one who are supposed to show these children that, hey, at one given time, you little boy, you are under my womb. I should never want to see you kind of making your neck whatever or else. Yes, make sure that these men who have been kind of littering weapons here and there all over the planet. That's not a trade for life. It's a trade for criminals. You should do, as I said, mothers, make sure you take the UN Assembly Security Council as a must. It's yours for there to make sure that you guarantee your future generations a beautiful health, very, very vibrant, very, very excellent, beautiful health, without drugs, without guns, without wars, without genocide, without bloodshed. So that way, your children may look back and say, yes, if they are to read the history of what had gone on in the 11th centuries and more, they will say indeed there was a manifest error somehow, but angels worked very hard to make sure that those things who had brought all about that era of wickedness and sadness and sadism was erased from the memories of men. Men should look to the future, or children of future generations should look to the future to add more beauty to that of what I've said and that of Magna Carta, what she laid down as a foundation, on which I said that foundation was never properly explained to you as mothers. But now I'll continue with explaining the Magna Carta as well as whatever and everything that requires me to explain more. I'll keep on bringing the whatever on top, but I have a very hard time because sometimes I don't have any way I can find put this whatever online, because I never have any money left on me. All the money I had was wasted and taken away by these hard gangs of criminals. They laid traps in our channels of communication that I have only very little few communication channels, and that way that kind of limits my time, how much time I spend on my computer, how much time I spend on whatever, and how much do I get my whatever put online. So that way, and never mind, I'm always aware of their Sikh ideologies, and I always make sure that whoever plays whatever in my way, they end up playing it in their whatever nervous system, and I always crush them with their yes. Okay, mama, no mothers, keep your children very, very clean from any hard criminality. Hard criminality is when your children think of how do they get the next boy across the street in their gang lifestyle. Never allow gang lifestyle in your house, because it may cause your little other children to have unhealthy smiles. The smiles, I mean unhealthy health. So keep your health and your household very clean, free from the gangs, pimps or gangs lifestyle. Assalamu alaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.